All right. Now, I was told I was going to be able to chill today. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Busy on the weekend. So, my energy. So, I bought a bottle of wine yesterday. I'm not really a drinker, but I mean, I have ancestors, you know, and that's why they kind of cling to my son's father because he drinks. I don't. Alcohol is not a bad thing. Wine it was actually very favored amongst Egyptians. So, you know, uh, I do work with the tobacco. Well, I used to, but every once in a while, but I've stopped smoking the tobacco. So every once in a while, somebody, a deity ancestor will come to me, and we'll do like a tobacco ritual or something like that. Just kind of pay a homage, So when it comes to the drinking, it's kind of like, okay. But, I notice, I mean, I kind of have a wild past with like drugs, like Coke, Molly, of course, the marijuana, drinking. Jameson is actually my favorite. I really like whiskey, but I really don't do the alcohol. So I kind of, got into wine, and then I do a little wine making myself. So, wine is my thing. So, before, I didn't drink a lot of it last night. So, I still have more than half of a bottle. So, I took a couple of swigs as soon as I woke up. Well, not as soon as I woke up and I kind of sat there just to kind of feel things out a little bit, kind of get an idea of how my morning was going to go. My electronics were acting real funny last night. So I checked on my electronics today and everything is, like there's no blockage. Okay. Because I was blocked last night and I was just like, well, okay. So, I was just like, okay, it's going to be a smooth day. So the moment that I drank the wine, immediately I felt the shift. It's as if I was given insight into something. Okay. So, first and foremost, if you have a problem with the drinking, if you have a problem with the liquor, this has a lot to do with the way that you think because alcohol is a suppressant. I like uppers, which is why I like the Coke, I like the weed. You know what I'm saying? Who is playing this loud ass, like, loud ass music? Okay, so drinking it messes with your way of thinking. I grew up with an alcoholic mother, though she was what you call a functioning alcoholic. She really wasn't. Okay, so I mean, we consider it to be functioning because she was able to maintain her role as a provider, but she absolutely sucked as a mother. And it's kind of like she was trying to balance out with having a life, having a career, then on top of that, having a relationship. So, when it came to her children, it's kind of like the children were the sacrifice. And because, she was more so being a provider, I'm gonna tell you, you know, um, I understand that it's hard out here for single mothers, but for some of these bitches, it's really not that hard. Motherfuckers just be greedy as hell. Because I'm gonna tell you, that woman tried to say that my dad was only sending her $650 a month. He was sending her 1,500 a month. You understand what I'm saying? And then on top of that, she was working and she was a hustler. Majority out her throughout her life, she was a entrepreneur. Okay, but she would mix it up because she got a really good job one time at a store named Dillard's, and I mean benefits was buku, and she was making good money and she was happy when she was there, and it was a little easier for her. Okay, alcohol has a big it has a big issue. It plays a big role in your relationships. Okay, so we just got to put that out. So um she would, so to compensate for sacrificing the relationship with her children, she would compensate with money. So we would be in activities, we would go to the movies a lot. She used the money for us to help create a life for ourselves. She would buy us cars. She would do things. It was beneficial to us because she would do things to where her money would work for her, so she didn't have to worry so much about us. She don't want to take us here and here and here and there, right? So at first we used to get money for the bus, money for cab fares, stuff like that. Then, she would buy us cars. Okay. So, I mean, it looks good on the surface, but it's actually an avoidant. I'm not really creating a relationship with my children, because that's going to get in the way of the relationships that I'm trying to have with my friends out here. I want to have fun. I want to party. Then on top of that, I have a lover, which was my stepdad. Okay, so I'm just saying, because we say functioning alcoholic, but we overlook the shades of gray in between. So I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know who needs to hear that. You know, um, my son's father, he's also a drinker. So I mean, over the years, I've been knowing this man since he was 18 years old. He's almost 40. Yes, and he has been drinking since I want to say maybe 21. Okay, and I definitely can see the change, the shift within his mentality and his way of thinking through over the years, with considering certain experiences that he's had, and some of them that I have contributed to. I wasn't always a good girl. Then having to deal with certain things with him and his family, his friends, and living life, then having a son and to develop relationship there. When we get used to or accustomed, by nature, human beings, we are made to adapt. So once we find the love of our vices or addictions, I mean, we just start to adapt. We start to create a life around our vices and addictions. Okay, so when I was smoking cigarettes, it wasn't too much that I was trying to do, because for one, I didn't like having the smell on me all the time. And I love to wear my braids, I love to wear my locks, you know what I mean? And that stuff would just stick to my hair. The smell of the smoke would just stick to my hair. I don't smell like flowers, I don't smell like rainbows. And then, my breath always smelled like burnt popcorn and shit like that. So I always have to have gum. There was so much that I would have to do in order to keep my habit. And then I would get irritated when I would be doing things or places and I wasn't able to smoke. So I found comfort in just chilling at home, being able to smoke anytime that I wanted to, in and out of the house. When it came to certain activities, I'm just like, boy, I can't wait to get home so I can smoke that goddamn cigarette. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you create a life based around your vices and your addictions. So if we are creating a lifestyle like that, it first starts with the mind. Our mentality is reflecting how we are creating everything within our life. The alcohol be affecting the way that you be seeing things and how you be thinking about things. And I'm going to tell you, because it is a suppressant, it makes you lazy in the way that you think. It strips you, of your mental energy, we'll say. Okay. So you don't necessarily have the energy to be optimistic about things. You don't have the energy to create the faith. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that mental energy to push past certain boundaries within your mind. Your mind is caged in to where you deal with a lot of discriminations. You deal with a lot of biases. You're very judgmental. Okay? And being judgmental, that is not discernment. So you are not discerning, which means that your thoughts are not creating pathways to move in the direction of your priorities. Okay, so the thing is that I have picked up, and don't get me wrong, because I understand, I picked up, that there's a man, and because of his success in his career, there is a woman that he's interested in and he feels so much for and all this type of stuff. But it's like, because she doesn't have as much stability, she doesn't have as much money, she's not on the level of career status or social status as him. It's like she to him, she is sacrificial, which means that even though he may really love her and she may really love him, he cannot accept the love. It's not enough for him. You understand what I'm saying? Because she presents herself, it seems to him, in the way that he thinks, it's kind of like she would only want me for my money because she don't have anything, right? And it is making me emotional, because it's sad, because this man, he does not know the struggles that this woman has been through. He doesn't know the type of sacrifices that this woman has made. So it's like he's punishing her, and he doesn't even understand her background or her history. This is the drinking shit, right? So it's kind of like it's easier for him to think like that when it comes to this woman, and tell himself, oh, I would rather be with a woman who has more than me, or be with a woman who's more on my level, financially and social status wise, because I feel safer this way, because they already have money, they already have this, they already have that. So if they love me I mean, that's all that is, it's got to be love. They're not coming to me for money or what they can get out of me because they already have it. Okay. And a lot of modern day men, I mean, they think this way. So this is just a modern day man. Okay. So he doesn't want commitment. He doesn't want to get married. But the thing is that he wants love. Right. So the thing is that he has found love, but he has disregarded and thrown out love because it's kind of like, I want to be in love, but I want to be in love with somebody who is equal to me. Therefore, even though I don't want to get married, I will get married to somebody who's on my level or who has more. Okay. So a man is tested when he has everything, and a woman is tested when that man has nothing. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know why that was important for me to say, but it is what it is. Now, the thing is that you got to be true to yourself. But the thing is that that's not his truth. He has a problem with the drinking, and it affects the way that he thinks. Suppressants numb you emotionally. Okay, so the thing is that what he's trying to project on this woman who doesn't have as much as he does is who he actually is, and this is a result of you may need to check in, brother, because you may have a problem. Okay, because you're projecting onto somebody else who you really are. You want to see somebody else as a gold digger, but you are the gold digger. But my thing is, it's all about, I mean, well, you a grown ass man, you have to make decisions for yourself. Okay, you have to do whatever it is that you have to do, and you might want to be careful because that woman that you decide to turn your back on, you don't know what she got, and I have a feeling it's kind of like God is going to bless her. That woman was your test. She was your test to see where your heart was. You see, you think it's about you. It's not about you. It's about her. That's a good woman. And men can easily take advantage of her. So the thing is, any man that comes into her life, I feel like you were the last. So it's kind of like you have already made your decision about her. So it's kind of like now that you made your decision about her, now God can give her what she was promised. So then when she comes up, you're not going to have access to her. Mm. It's like Beauty and the Beast, right? You have this poor old woman that comes in. Wants to she just wants to be in the warmth for a little bit to avoid the storm, and because of how she looks, what the prince thinks that he sees from her, he's very disregarding towards her. He sends her away. He doesn't care that she's a helpless old woman and it's freezing outside and she doesn't have anywhere to go. So then all of a sudden she transforms into the enchantress, but it's too late because she can see that his heart is ugly, though he has a pretty face, right? And when you drink, it's the suppressant. It's kind of like you can't say, "Oh, well, you know what? I was wrong for that. I was out of line." You know, I'm willing to be better. Like, I'm willing to fix this. How can I fix this? It's kind of like you're so defeatist. You nurture a defeatist attitude to the point to where instead of, after you are confronted about your ugliness, you don't even try to make it right. You don't even try to make it better. You just give up and you just tell yourself, well, obviously I'm ugly, so I'm just going to continue to be an ugly person for the rest of my life. And I'm just going to throw myself into this bottle because I ain't shit. That's not a healthy way to go, sir. You know, you got to come out of that. You got to come out of that way of thinking. You got to start working on your mental health. You got to start, you know, I mean, if you are willing to accept that, then okay. But if, I don't know, I've already said it before, I can't accept missing out on true love. If it doesn't want me, I'm fine with that. But I can't be the one. So whatever I need to do to get right, that's what I'm going to do. But at the same time, I'm not going to be somebody else's expectation, even if it is true love. I'm going to see where I need to get my shit together. I'm going to see where I need to be a better version of myself in order to make this shit last. But I mean, that's just me. It's not about me. Okay. Okay, now. All right. Okay. So I feel like this is actually a continuation from our last oracle reading, because you got the death in reverse and you got divine timing. Just like I said in that last reading, like the time is just not now. Okay. So we have self-love here in the position of your subconscious oracle deck. So what you are unaware of. So I don't know if this has anything to do with who we were talking about, what we were talking about, but we're going to just move on. We're going to move our minds forward, okay? Because yesterday's situation didn't have anything to do with what I picked up earlier this morning, okay? So, what you are unaware of is self-love, okay? So if you want to understand why something is taking time, one or two of the other parties have to come into the realization that they love who they are more than what they realize. They practice more self-love. I don't feel like this is, oh, you need to be working on self-love. It's subconscious. It's what you are. It's what you don't realize about yourself. So it's like you don't realize that you are self-love, which means that you may be dealing with somebody who's trying to make you think, convince you, or somebody who is a bad influence on you and making you think that you don't love who you are. People are always, I mean, you do have some people to where they are good guides as to what self-love is, but then you have some people to where they absolutely don't know what they're talking about. And then it's kind of like they're living a life that doesn't consist of self-love at all. Okay, so I mean, so I want you to know that your heart is lighter than what you think. You may feel like your heart is heavy, but it's not. You're going to come into awareness of these things, okay? So your heart is light. Your heart is not heavy. Okay, so we have the moon and we have the sun here. You are in harmony. You are in balance with who you are. And then there is a sweet, there's like this sweet rejuvenatingness about you emotionally. You are emotionally cleansing. You are emotionally purging. Okay? So that is what you need to know about yourself and who you are. You help heal people. People can see the self-love within you. You may not be able to see it within yourself. Maybe because a certain situation is not panning out the way in which that you wanted to, but it's because it's going to take time. It's not time yet. I think that you need to come into awareness of the type of effect that you actually have on people. You make people want to love who they are. You make people want to accept who they are. You make people want to free themselves, of the heavy, of the trauma that they feel. It's definitely given, like, when people are trying to bully other people or people are trying to put other people down, make people feel terrible about themselves, you are liberating. With the sun, you illuminate this in people. It's like you set them free of the chains that other people tried to put on them. You are a gift. You are the gift. So, I mean, it don't matter what you look like. It don't matter what you have, what you don't have. You got something that a lot of people need. And I'm going to say they need support in. Okay? Okay, so we're going to get into your higher intuition cards. What does your higher self want to communicate to you? Okay, so we have tangled wishes in reverse. You have fertility in reverse. So these are future forward. So in the future, okay, so I have a feeling this has a lot to do with relationships. So it's kind of like whatever you think that you want right now, in the future, you're going to realize it's not what you want. Okay, so this is what tangled wishes mean. Ladybugs represent fortune. So this may have something to do with the dude we was talking about earlier. Okay, So, I mean, later on in the future, you're going to realize certain things. Because, you may want the money, the finances, and the stability. But with fertility here, it's kind of like you're maybe the person that you end up with is not going to be able to give you children. Okay. I kind of feel like this man, he don't have a lot of faith within himself. He don't have a lot of faith within his finances within the future. That's why instead of love, he wants somebody to where it's like if he marry them, it's like he can marry into money. Okay. Because it's like he don't have no faith in his career. He don't have faith in his financial situation. So it's kind of like he's already premeditating. I mean, he's just being logical. And this is how most men think. This is how most men think. So this is why I be telling women, when it comes to a man, tread lightly, be patient, and be careful, because men are looking for reasons. They're not going to choose a woman that they love. They're never going to choose who they are in love with. They're going to choose, they're going to choose their vision. They have a vision. If this man has a vision for his life, he knows what he wants. Love, he's going to see love as not providing that for him. So he's going to be logical, and he's going to go with reasoning, and he's going to follow through with his vision, because there are other things that this man wants to do, right? We have freedom here, right? Which is the horse. So the thing is that he's roaming around on earth, but he's actually like really, it's not that he's lost. I think that he thinks that he's lost, because when he tries to compare himself to other people and maybe other men, and seeing how other men are doing things that is kind of like what men should be doing, he doesn't think like that. So he must be very feminine. Okay, feminine energy wants to be taken care of. Okay, I know I have a lot of male friends who operate in femininity, you know, but it'd be so sad, because it's like they're so loving, and they can relate to women different than most men can. So to where a woman, she'll take him in like, oh, I'll take care of you. You can stay with me. You can do this. You can do that. But after some time, women usually turn on them. And it's kind of like, when is your ass going to get a job? When you going to start doing this, when you going, it's like, just like that man don't see the value in that woman, right? He don't see the value within himself. And see, he's going to attract other women who don't see the value within him as well. I want you to understand from this experience what this man is creating for himself through projecting. And the root of the projection and not being able to see clearly is because of some type of habit or vice that he has. That is not serving him. It's messing up his life. And he's already made the decision that he does not want the love. So now he's moving into reasoning. So in the future, he's going to come to realize that what he thought he wanted was not what he wanted. And by that time, it may be he's not going to be able to go back to that woman that he loved and he was in and who was in love with him. It's making me very sad. Okay. So I've seen this love story over and over and over and over again. Okay. So my thing is that to this man, it is okay that you are not like other men. Like, you have to start taking pride within you. You have to start loving you, and you have to start demanding that other motherfuckers love you the way that you love yourself too. So what if you're a grown ass man and you want to be taken care of financially? Because there are other things you want to experience your life, and that's what it is. Now, you have to understand that strings come attached to somebody taking care of you too. You cannot possibly think that you're just going to be out here doing whatever the fuck you want to do while somebody else is providing for you. Because that's what you want. You want somebody to take care of you so that you can just roam and do what you want. My thing is that, you cannot be out here like fucking around with other women, but you have a woman taking care of you. But at the same time, you cannot allow that woman to try to put all of these expectations on you either, if she's going to be taking care of you. So you need to pump the brakes, because you need to be able to voice what you want without feeling embarrassed or belittled, because you're trying to hide your motives. But deep down inside, you know what you want. You're not willing to tell nobody that because you don't want somebody to judge you. But you don't want to go into a situation thinking that you're tricking somebody, and then your ass end up getting tricked, and you felt like you found that safety net, so you let everything else go, and then you come to find that that safety net is a trap. You don't want to do that. You deserve what you want, but you deserve to speak up for yourself and tell, and don't try to manipulate somebody into taking care of you. You got to meet different women. See, you got to find out who really loves you. Either that, or you're going to have to be independent. You're going to have to chuck it up and just be independent and provide the type of freedom for your life that you want on your own. Drinking creates trust issues. Like substance abuse, it creates trust issues. But I'm going to tell you, trust issues actually root during the time to where you're an infant. It has a lot to do with how you were parented during that time. It has a lot to do with oral. Okay. So, pay attention to your eating habits. Did you suck your finger when you were younger? Did you suck, was it hard for you to get off that pacifier? You know what I'm saying? Like, were you greedy when you were younger? Like, you understand what I'm saying? It's hard to revert back to those times. And sometimes your parents can't even revert back to those times. But, a lot of people are walking around with trust issues and they think it's because of their experiences, when in all actuality, your trust issues started when you were an infant. And it has a lot to do with your parents. Were you dropped, when you were a child? Like, what happened? Okay. But that's neither here nor there. And I'm not trying to go that deep into stuff. Okay. But with this fertility card, it's kind of like, you're going to have, okay, so I already said you may get with somebody, but you can't have children, right? Now, another possibility is when it comes to fertility, your career, your future is going to be brighter than what you think. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're going to find yourself with having a lot, but not being able to produce, if that makes sense. My goodness. So you're going to have the eggs, but it's kind of like those eggs are not going to hatch. So you're going to be spreading like little eggs around, which means that, you may get into different businesses, but then it's like those businesses are not going to flourish. So it's kind of like wherever you're at right now within your career, you feel you're being too hard on yourself. You feel like you should be doing more. You feel like you should be bigger, or you should be making more, this, and that. Maybe you don't want to, because the freedom is freedom. You're searching for freedom in everything that you do, but you're contradicting yourself because you want a lot. If you want a lot, you have to work for it. And sometimes, you're going to have to make, you may find yourself having to make certain sacrifices, or selling out in some kind of way. That's why you need time to figure out what you really want. You have to put yourself in a healthy mindset. So I'm going to tell you, in the future, your career is going to blow. You don't understand that because, like I said, you're being too hard on yourself. You feel like shit should already pop off for you. You're being impatient. You so busy out here roaming territory and discovering new territory. You so busy out here playing, but you're not practicing and you're not focused on tapping in to what your future has in store for you. I mean, I don't know. You don't have no faith. It's like you don't have faith. It's like you don't really have faith in yourself. You don't have faith in where your career is going. And the thing is that it's going to blow. But without real love, it's not going to nurture anything. You're going to have all this money. It's going to be like you're going to receive these big checks, but they're going to be all void. You're not going to be able to multiply. you're not going to be able to reproduce, recreate. It's not going to be fulfilling, which means that whatever you do is kind of like you're thinking you're in between selling out. The choice is yours, but like I say, choose wisely. Okay, so I mean, I think you're going to sell out. The choice is yours. You have to live with your decision. So, okay, so you have metamorph. This is in reverse. So your spirit guide has left. Is that what you're telling me? So you don't have spiritual guidance anymore and you don't have spiritual protection, which means that you pretty much already made your decision. Okay, okay, okay. So what now? What now? This is a really sad situation here. Because whoever you left behind, the woman that you left behind, I mean, there's new love. I mean, you're not going to be able to be you're not going to be able to be with her. You're not going to you can't go back to her. It's not going to happen. You can't force your way into it. You can't make it happen. It's a done deal. This is why I be trying to get people to see who they really are, because sometimes the world can see you better than you see yourself. And it's hard, when we have our vices and these addictions, because that distorts our self-image. My thing is that I wanted to tell you that that woman would still be she would still be open to you, but somebody else then came. It's too late. Somebody came and got her. So it just won't meant to be, you know what I mean? It was meant to be, but you made the choice. But sometimes I be like, why would, if it's meant to be, why would God test? Why would God put that test in there? But obviously that shit is very important, because she may have been truly in love with you, but you weren't truly in love with her. And she's a good woman, and you would have ruined things for everybody. And you would have spent your life trying to blame her for that, when in all actuality, it's you. But you would never be able to prove that with having her there. So without having her there, it's like you and other people can see that, I'm sorry to say, but you are the one with the problem. You're the problem. And you would have just tortured this woman for the rest of her life, and she wouldn't have deserved that. And y'all would have it just would have been a terrible situation. It would have been terrible. So, in all actuality, you actually saved yourself. So, hey, let's take it back. You actually saved yourself, because if you would have got with her, you would have done more damage to you and her, both of y'all lives. My thing is that by you sacrificing her, it's on you. You got to take responsibility now for everything that you have done, the decisions that you have made. But the thing is that you could take your power back by cleaning up your act. If you need to go to rehab, get some help. You have a second chance here. So, okay. And see, I'm about to say, hold on, God, because where you at? Because I don't see you up in here, because you be giving chances. So what's up? I was starting to get nervous. I was like, don't make me sad up in here. Yeah. So you actually have a second chance. And I'm trying to tell you, if you pick yourself back up, if you clean yourself up, you what you wanted, you'll get it 10 times better. Right? So even though you may have lost a good woman, a good loving woman, you get your shit together, you're gonna meet a woman who's 10 times better than that woman that you lost. And I'm trying to tell you, that's how this shit be working. That's why I be trying to encourage people, just keep going. Just keep going, let go, and just keep going, because it gets better. Okay. So, I met the man who was supposed to be my husband this lifetime, but he did not choose me. Okay. So the thing is that I loved him unconditionally. So rather he wanted to be with me or rather he didn't. I didn't, I was fine with it. I was able to walk away and be happy for him and be okay with that. I thought that I was going to have to just live my life like never knowing, never being in love. I thought that was over for me. But then I got back out there and I started to date, and I started to notice, I'm just like, wow, I thought that who my husband was supposed to be, I thought it didn't get no better than him. Then when I got out here, I was like, oh baby, it's real good out here. I said it's real good out here. It's real good. You'll meet some of the most amazing people in the world that I'm trying to tell you, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So for this man, it's kind of like keep fucking going, but you have to get your shit together. That was a learning experience. And I mean, when it came to my situation, I'm just like, man, me and him, we have been doing this every lifetime, and we're probably going to do this every lifetime. Maybe this lifetime he wants a break. That's the perception. That's the perception that I had. I didn't see it as I lost him. I saw it not this lifetime. I was only worried about what was going to happen for me. But I mean, like I said, I kept going and I found out, I was like, oh shit. Oh baby. And it made it easier. It made it easier for me to, move forward. Because at first I was afraid to move forward. I was kind of like, well, I want to leave space for him to be able to return. Life is so mysterious, but I had to close out that space. Because if I didn't close out that space, then I wouldn't have space for somebody new, you know? So, I mean, you got to stay optimistic out here. It's hard. It's hard trying to stay prayed up, faithed up, optimistic, but it's even harder when we're dealing with those vices and those addictions. It's even harder. And the thing is that you just want to rehabilitate yourself. And then once you rehabilitate yourself, and you master the control, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't smoke tobacco, but when it comes to my sister, whenever we get up and have a good time, I smoke the Black and Miles. I don't give a fuck. you know I don't want to run away from temptation. I want to look temptation dead in the eye. I'm not tempted, but you look like a good time right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's dance and keep your hands to yourself. Right. This is empowerment. This is how you feel powerful. This is how you take your power back. No fear. You're gonna feel it, but do it anyway. Shit. You know what I'm saying? You are in control. You are the driver of your life. Your fears do not control you. Your temptations do not control you. Okay, so that's gonna be it. So I'm gonna end the reading there. So until next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.